recess, so we're coming back into session. The two items left to go over tonight are on the agenda are the 2024-25 budgets, and then the resolutions 25-1 through 25-6, which is the tax levy for the next budget year. So that's the two items left. We did have public comment at the beginning at 4:15 when we opened. Since we recessed, I think it's appropriate, if there's anybody that wants to make public comment, now, this would be the time, we'll give you an opportunity to do that. Is there anybody that particularly wants to make public comment regarding either of these items on the agenda before we get started? Okay, I don't hear any and I don't see any. And so the next item is the 24-25 budgets. And I know the commission is here, and this was really an opportunity for a final budget discussion or clarification or questions. And so I believe if the committee is okay with that, we'll open it up to the commissioners to ask questions, any particular thing regarding the budgets. We'll do the resolutions after the budget. And we have a microphone, so I would ask you either go to the podium or Mark will pass the microphone to the commissioner. In this case, primarily, the commissioners should be the one asking the questions. We have some of the department heads here. If you ask a specific question, and we have that representative in the room, we'll have them respond. But who wants to go first with a particular question regarding the budgets for 24-25? Again, this would be reflected in the book that you were given. Commissioner Farrah, would you hand him? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got it. So, okay. Can you speak to that? Yeah.
Okay, that is number 5 in the budget request summary, the highlights. And it's for the architect for the schematic design of a new fire hall. It was the schematic design for a new fire hall. Oh, fire hall. Yes, sir. That's correct. The juvenile detention is under the capital outlay note. Yes, and it's an estimate based on their fee structure. And it could be less. Well,
yeah. Well, we don't know the amount yet, and so it's a placeholder for an amount depending on the size of the operations center. Again, the fire chief is here. He certainly can speak to that. This is something that's been ongoing. Yeah. That's not the exact amount. We don't know.
The other one had to do with the finance department. Just in the last 4 years, from 2021 to 2024, 25, it's gone up $416,500 over the last 4 years. And I know we need accountants, I know we need bookkeepers and reporters, but it seems like if we add these two positions, and if the base salary over that $416,000 is $56,000, it seems like we've added 7 positions.
Actually,
4 years, but some of it might have been for other fees. I don't know.
Actually, what that is we budget all the positions, but some of those are reimbursed from other departments. So that's why it looks like it's an increase when it's really not. Now, at the end of the year, when we do our cleanup budget amendment, we actually put that reimbursement in there, and that's why it will go back down.
Okay, can you tell me how many bookkeepers and accountants we have in your office?
I believe we have 10.
We have 10 of today, and if we approve these other two, you'll have 12 then?
That's correct. Now, one of those will be working with the school system to supervise their bookkeepers, and it's actually a bookkeeper supervisor. And the other one is to help us with the load that we've got because of all the grants and everything else that we're dealing with, because we're pretty swamped.
There's a lot going on with budget finance, but it just seems to be quite a bit. And I noticed, and I'm sort of getting off hand there, I know, maybe, but I know that the assessor property needs a position and hasn't gotten one. Maybe she has, and then the trustee seems to be short. I'm just thinking, I just soon add a position there, assessor of property and trustee, then 2 more but I could be way off base, and I'm not bashing the finance department one bit. They do a great job, and I appreciate all that you do. But it seems like assessor properties need a position forever, and we can't seem to find one, but if we need one in accountant or bookkeeper, it seems like we're able to find one or two every year.
We have put one in for property assessor, and also trustee has moved one from part-time to full-time. It's in the budget.
Yeah, so it's, yes.
Particularly those two, because they seem to be overburdened the last few years.
And they generate fees, as you said, so they do offset some of their costs.
And I got one other thing. It seems like in all the offices, the medical insurance is going up $10,000 in nearly every department. Are we bidding that out? I know there's nothing to do about it, but are we getting bids from?
We are on the,
insurance people?
we're on the state plan, and they have a state teacher plan and what they call the county plan. It's basically the same coverage. But we're under that plan, which is probably cheaper than other plans. And it's been climbing. Yes, sir.
All these departments, every one of them had $10,000 increase.
Private sector is dealing with the same issue.
And then you put in Social Security and other pensions. Wow, that's a big expense. Those benefits are for, employees.
It's been going up like 5 or 6% a year, I think, on the cost.
Yeah, and on the county side, we don't even contribute to family health insurance. On the school side, they do. So keep in mind, that number, as large as it is, on the county side, we do not contribute to family health insurance. So, agreed, it is a big number, and private sector is feeling the same pinch in the business world with these runaway costs in healthcare.
I've just got one other comment. It looks like the property tax going to remain the same, about 18,590,000. That's good. And I think that we look at the pennies is equal to 130,000.
That's correct.
That's pretty well in line. That's good that our property taxes are staying in line. The last thing I've got, and it's been in the town of Zed, and let's do some electric plan in the cities. It's in their lap now, but I've just got some concern with that. I do appreciate Chief Matt Doe. I've got concerns with a lot of those articles that are in the town of Zed about the safety out there, as made comment, and even Mr. Hooker said something back in January, asking CEO Shane Hooker some questions about it. He said that they had met all state requirements, and perhaps they have. But as you read those 2 or 3 articles that were in the town of Zed, it really threw up some red flags for me, and I just think, I don't know if there's anything to do. I don't know that I want to do anything, but I'm telling you, it's got my attention. And I think we do need to maybe revisit sometime the Shelby Bedford County Partnership and just discuss it. I'm not, that's all I'm saying. But I do think that I've got a lot of red flags went up for me when I read all those articles in the town of Kentucky. And it does bother me. And I think it should bother everybody. I mean, that's a chemical plant, it's not a battery plant. And then I think they were gonna have 160 jobs originally, and now they're down to 30 employees that are working one shift. I don't know if it's true or not, I read it in the paper, and that may not be true, but that's a concern for me and some of my constituents, because I've had to people when they read that in the paper.
We've had calls as well with people concerned with some of that
That's
as
all.
well.
It's
Sure,
just a concern.
sure. Okay. Next, Commissioner, somebody got a particular question they want to ask now? Okay, can we give you the mic, or could you come up to the podium? Either one you'd want to do. Okay, that'd be fine. We just want to make sure everybody can hear it that's watching.
So I was under and like I said, I just had a couple of questions I wasn't sure about. Under the contributions, other operations, it's under tourism, 58,190. What is that?
What is the page
Where
number?
are you?
Let's see, it's page, got a hole poked in it.
It should be down.
99.
99.
Yeah, I got a hole poked in my page number.
Oh, okay, yeah, we might have missed that one. Now, which line was it again?
58,190, number 9, where it just says contributions, and it was like 100,000, 100,000, it was 157,000, and it was 110,000. What is that?
Yeah, it's in the it's also in your notes. Contribution to Industrial Park Board for Economic Development, 100,000, 10,000 county share of the 231 North Park joint venture city, with the city.
Okay, so that's what Commissioner Farrell was just talking about. Yeah, I know when they talked to us, they said, that they was hoping after 3 years, they would have private investors and the county and city would stop giving that money. So, I too have had a lot of calls about that. So that and animals is what I get the most calls about.
Yes, for sure on animals, no doubt about that.
So I'm kind of leery of that. Part.
I wanted to say also, that's reflected on the nonprofit sheet at the end of that budget, where you'll see the
You
partnership
see the
there.
breakout.
You'll
Right.
see the breakout.
Yeah, but so the city's not giving their money. It's really not a partnership, but I guess it's called a partnership anyway. But, and then on page, got a number on this one. It's under Bedford County General Funds. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It's County Mayor. And I didn't really realize that. But anyway, it's just, my question was, it has part-time personnel, 40,000. Is that 2 part-time people?
Which, where we?
It's under,
Talking about under the
General
county mayor's
Government,
budget?
County Mayor.
Yeah, that was for projects that was put in some time ago, but we have not actually exercised that. Is that right?
For part-time people.
In case we have particular projects that we got to expedite. So it just says it didn't even get spent this year.
Right, it's got, what, 12,000 maybe? Was that spent this year? I guess.
You should be on
Page 23.
you're on page 23?
Mine don't have a page number.
Well, the next page is 24, so I figured it's
Mine
20.
don't have even anything. I don't even have a number.
Yeah, well, it should say county mayor under it. So what line item are you
Yeah.
referring to?
So it's
Number,
51, number 7, 51,300, 169. And it said 40,000 for part-time, which I know the legislative thing we got today said, we wouldn't be able to reduce that anymore. Like if it's whatever it is, that's what it's got to stay. So I just thought that seemed like a lot for a part-time person.
It was in the current year as well, and I think the year before.
Yes.
So,
Well, it was 12,000.
oh, which year?
12,000 the year before.
Yeah.
None the year before that.
Yeah, as, correct.
So that seemed like a big jump to me.
Same as the current year.
Well, in 2023, it said 12,000. See where it says 12,000?
But we're in 23, 24. We're talking
Yeah.
about 24, 25. So I'm saying the current budget year, the current year we're in.
Last year it jumped.
Right.
Yeah, last year
Yeah.
it was to 12,000. This year's to
If not
40,000.
used, then that just goes.
Right, goes back into the general fund,
All
which I don't
right.
believe we used any part-time, did we?
Okay, so that was my question. And there was a lot of, there is a lot of miscellaneous stuff in there, so I don't know if we can maybe for next time, explain what miscellaneous is.
Well, we try to put notes on that second page
Right.
for items like that.
Yeah,
Now, you're talking about in the mayor's budget?
no, just in
Oh,
general,
okay.
the whole thing.
Yeah, the like 599 or
Anything.
miscellaneous categories that are under the accounting. Is that what you're referring to?
Right, yeah, any of it, yeah, the
Yeah,
whole
we try,
budget,
if it's
just-
something
yeah.
big, we try to specify that, but a lot of times the miscellaneous is just very small items.
Right,
But if we can identify it, we try to put it on that second page.
gotcha. Okay.
Well, yeah, sure.
Robert, on the nonprofits, and I should have called you
Okay. You back on 99?
Right.
Page 99?
for what we allocated several years ago. We said we wanted it to be about 2.8, 3% of the overall budget. That's still in line with what finance had requested,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So I wanted to make sure on that. And then, on your little cheat sheet thing at the front, number 11 are the sheriff's cars, is that part of the rotation process?
We were able to fund 2 extra cars this year, so we added those to the general budget. But in the capital outlay budget, we've been rotating 1 year for fire, 1 year for sheriff.
Okay,
I
so
believe
these are
this is
2 new cars.
Yes.
Well, it's
Or like
adding
they're
to
adding
the
to the
rotation because
rotation.
the rotation supports, the sheriff's here, 20 years to rotate your car out? Where's the sheriff? If we don't continue to where we can increase in our rotation cycle, by the time we get back on the standard, vehicles would be 20 years old. So
that's 2 new cars.
that's
was
2
my
more
question.
added to the fleet,
Okay,
at least
okay.
this time.
Okay. And then on the SRO, that comes back with the matching funds from the state,
That's correct.
and
And that's for Cartwright.
that's for what?
Cartwright, the new school.
Oh, yeah, for the Cartwright. Okay. And then on the county employee, under the county commission,
What number?
I'm on page
3?
4.
3, 4.
The 4 that I can read, so it'd be page 3. County, we should not have gotten a raise because we've not voted on any raises. So why is there 1,200 and some, I mean, it's not much, but just out of general curiosity.
Lori, do you know the answer to
Was
that
it
one?
insurance?
I don't believe so. Was it?
Okay. How many? Yeah,
We did have 2, but now it's down to 1 because Julie Sanders just left.
okay. So that's the insurance jump. Okay.
Correct.
I just didn't want it to be salaries because we weren't supposed to. That's all I've got.
Commissioner Maddox, can you give him the microphone?
Record 19. Thanks for the time. I want to just quickly say that, as I went through the budget, I saw a lot of effort put in the budget from what I could assess. I see that there were some folks that seemed to pinch some pennies for the sake of the taxpayer and the citizens, and I really appreciate that. I got tickled at Mr. Reed's budget. He simply said no changes, the same as last year. But anyway, I didn't find it humorous. I just actually appreciated that. But I know that we have to have money to operate, and I'm proud that we're able to. What it seems like we're going to be able to take care of the county employees this year again, which is great. Cost of living's going up, so I think that's a much needed opportunity there, and I'm thankful. Just like it's been mentioned, I also have constituents reach out as it pertains to line number 9 in the general fund. It looks like we're going to move ahead with, $110K for the partnership. So I want to just be a little more clear. Does the industrial board, park board exist? That's my first question. That's a yes or no question.
Well, let's get Commissioner Vick. He was the chair. Has the resolution come down from legal yet that dissolved it?
We had our last 231 Industrial Park Board meeting about 3 months ago. There is no more property in the industrial park. The mission was to fill the park, to create job opportunities, to attract businesses, and to create an environment where there was manufacturing business in place. We voted to disband our 231 board. Nothing from legal has come to us, but there has been no meetings. There is no funds, to my knowledge, in there other than the loan that the city put forward to there. I think it was $100,000 they had to help us with a match. So the county has had no exposure on that. There's no more property and there's no more business. We adjourn, sine die. So that answers your question. Unless you have something to follow up.
But we're
with.
waiting on Attorney Schaffner said that she was preparing a formal resolution that both the city and the county would need to pass to officially or formally dissolve the 231 board. So currently, I believe it technically exists, even though they don't have any business before them.
There were a couple of attorney bills that were involved with the closing on the parcel 26, I believe, and those were, I think, anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000. So it wasn't a lot that we'd be splitting with the city. So to my knowledge, that is the last communication we have had, and there's no more property and there's no more business, I understand.
Thank you, Commissioner. So it may not be officially dissolved as of yet, but it looks like that it's in the process of being dissolved, correct?
We're waiting on
And
legal.
the industrial park is full, correct? Correct.
He just spoke and said there's no more property available,
Yeah.
so.
So
okay.
I guess my question is, what are we contributing another 100K to that,
To,
to that?
the 100K is
partnership.
going to the Chevrolet Bedford Partnership.
Mhm.
Is that what you're referring, is that what you're asking the
Yes.
question?
Yeah.
They're present. Would you like to hear from them?
Sure, please.
Now, understand the Chevrolet Bedford Partnership is separate from the 231 board. Do you understand that? Okay.
So I will attempt to answer that question. I don't have prepared notes, so you'll have to bear with me as I take notes here. But the partnership is involved in economic development, workforce development, tourism, as well as it's now home to the chamber. So let me take each one of those. The Shelbyville Bedford Chamber is now part of our organization. That organization supports small businesses that need the advocacy, small businesses that need the support. We're providing, for example, every month a suite of classes that help small business owners do what they need to do to be successful. The chamber is also providing opportunities for networking. For example, we had a meeting with the Rutherford County Chamber, and in that meeting we had over 300 people that were there that owned businesses that had an opportunity to network and meet other people in other counties and other places. So it's not just about the industrial park, it's about the chamber and all the chamber functions that go along with that. It's about tourism. You know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, lowering property taxes or not having property taxes be what they are right now. Well, you got to have a plan if you're going to lower property taxes or not raise property taxes, and nobody wants to see that. So you have to have a plan. And I'll give you an example. We have worked, the partnership that you're asking about has worked over the past year with the South Central Tennessee Tourism Association as well as with the Tennessee Department of Tourism. And for every dollar of tourism that gets circulated, it creates about $7 of return. That creates about $154 per household in Bedford County, per household. When you take the amount of money that tourism generates and you divide that by the number of households, it's about $154 per household, which means that if you don't support tourism and if you don't take care of tourism and make sure that tourism continues to grow, you put yourself in a position where that $154 has got to come from somewhere, which means you got to have a plan for that, which means that the only thing, to my knowledge, that the elected official body can do to generate revenue, for the most part, is to go raise property taxes. So if you don't want property taxes raised, you got to have a plan. The partnership is putting forth a plan for tourism where we have worked with the state to develop that plan so that we can take us right now. We rank number 49 of 95 counties. Bedford County does. Our plan is to try to get us to number 45 and increase that number from $154 per household to, for example, $200 per household. Those are the types of efforts that the partnership is engaged in. It's not just about the industrial park. I wish it were that simple. But you're looking at the chamber, you're looking at tourism, you're also looking at workforce development. 53% of the kids who graduate from Bedford County K-12 go directly into the workforce. They don't go to TCAT. It's free, by the way. Open enrollment, too, by the way, which means that you can sign your name, you can go. But they don't. They go directly into the workforce. Well, where are they going to go to work? What job are they going to get? Who's out there talking to them? We appreciate the role that Bedford County K-12 plays in supporting what we do with workforce development. But workforce development is a very important piece of helping kids understand, well, if you're not going to get a job, I think everybody in here probably has a job, but if you're not going to get a job, what's your plan? You going federal assistance? Is that your plan? I mean, what's the plan if you don't get a job? So not only do we help those kids see what those futures are in workforce development through the partnership, but we work with Bedford County K-12. We work with all of the existing industries as well. We make routine visits, talking with Mark Clanton earlier today about a request from one of our companies. Because when companies don't feel supported, they leave. That's not good, because now all of a sudden, with no industrial park, I mean, where are we going to put a new company, no matter what they do? If somebody up and decides to leave, what's the plan? The partnership is providing a plan, because what we're doing is we're taking care of the businesses that are here. You have to go out and visit with them. If you look at the data and you look at the number of jobs that we had 5 years ago in manufacturing as opposed to the jobs that we have right now, you're going to see a steep decline. You know why? Because jobs don't last forever. I wish they did, but they don't. They time out. They move for lower prices somewhere else. They move for a change in the way things are done, processes. You don't make things the same way you used to, so jobs just time out. You lose jobs, and that's quite frankly where Bedford County is. So what's the plan? Well, partnership's plan is to help recruit more businesses and then take care of the ones that we already have. Most people don't know that we do that. That's why it was probably a good idea to have this conversation today, because when I hear things like, well, you know, the industrial park is empty, I mean, or it's full, well, yeah, thanks to some folks in this room that got it done, yeah, it is full. But the reality is the work is not done. Just because you clean up the house one day doesn't mean the house stays clean for the rest of the year. It takes a plan. Workforce development, let me continue with that. This time last year, National Pen closed. We lost 67 jobs. It might not be important to anybody in this room, but I can guarantee you it was important to the 67 people that lost their job. And those 67 people that lost their job, 90% of them, through the partnership in workforce development, we found those folks another job making more money than what they were making at National Pen. Without the partnership being there, what were you going to do? Wait on the state to come help our folks? What were you going to do? Wait on federal government to come help our folks? That's not a plan. We use some of their resources, and they are part of the answer, but they're not the answer. That's what the partnership does. Workforce development, I can also tell you, TVA held out our workforce development department 2 months ago out to the rest of the 7 states that are part of TVA and said, if you want to know what workforce development is supposed to look like in a rural town, look at Bedford County. Now, let's get to the economic development side of it. No, it's not just about recruiting new industry. It's about taking care of the folks that are already here. And somebody has to do that. And that is a lot of work, by the way, too. Because you got to take care of the folks that are here that are making things happen for you already, because those people have expansions. Cooper Steel, another 100 jobs coming right here to Shelbyville and Bedford. And you know who was right there holding hands with Cooper Steel, saying, hey, here's what can be done next. Here's what this needs to look like. I know you're in some other states, but you need to be here in Shelbyville, Bedford, and Tennessee, because they are in 2 other states. You know who was sitting there as the #1 cheerleader for Shelbyville and Bedford, saying, hey, look, you need to do this right here. Don't go to another state. Do that right here. You know who that was? Shelbyville-Bedford Partnership. And we do that not only for Cooper Steel, but we do it for every last single one of the other industries here, that when they come up with grand ideas, that they want to do something, but there's other states that they're looking at. And then on the retail side, let's go back to revenue. One of the things that we're working on is to try to figure out how to help the county generate more revenue that's not dictated to love our schools, we have to support our schools, but there needs to be some money in the general fund for the county to be able to do some of the things that you guys need to do. Who's got a plan for that? Shelbyville Bedford Partnership. We're working with Mayor Graham in his office to figure out how do we go about recruiting more stuff out in the county to increase your sales revenue so that every time that you get ready to spend money on something, it's not about having to raise property taxes. So there's more to the Shelbyville Bedford Partnership than the industrial park. We're talking about economic development, workforce development, tourism, and the chamber. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to go into some more, but I know I've probably taken a little bit more time than Mark Clanton wanted.
Just for the record, the question you was talking to me about the industry, I did not cause that problem. You was asking me to help with that problem.
Yeah, Mark did not cause that problem. But I will tell you this. Let me point out something. And I've said this before, and I will continue to say it. There are roads in this county that need to be improved. One of them is going to get improved because of recruitment in the industrial park. $8 million worth of road improvements. That's going to cost the city and the county about $400 each. Is that right, Mark? So or so? So because of the work that's been done, you're going to get $8 million worth of road upgrades to something that should have been corrected a long time ago. $8 million worth of road, over $400,000 from the county. I think that's called a return on investment, and I think I'd take that each and every day. That's what the Shelbyville Bedford Partnership brings to the table. No, it's not just about the industrial park. I wish it was. I'd work a whole lot less hours.
This is the chairman of the
My name's
partnership.
David Coffey, and I'm the,
Don't
proud
go
to be
anywhere,
the,
Mr. Hooper. Don't go anywhere. Got a couple things for you.
I've lived here, grown up here. I had 5 businesses here. It's a great honor to be here tonight. It's a great honor to be a part of the Shelbyville Bedford Partnership, and I want to thank the entire commission for doing this and stepping out and doing this, because I'll be honest with you, I spent a lot of time hoping and praying something like this would happen. And I got involved because of Shane Hooper and the professional staff that we have, an incredible board in which y'all have the mayor and Commissioner Johnson on board there. But I'd have you look at it a little differently maybe than you may look at it. What I hear y'all always sitting and talking about is, you know, you're looking at expense, and you got to look at expense. I'm 100% with you, but I'd also look at revenue, you know, because the prices of everything are going up. How can you generate revenue? And we can do that. Shane has talked about that. How can we help your HR department? Okay, we can do that. We can help our kids stay here. I've got 2 kids that left and said they'd never come back, and it killed me. They both came back. They're excited about being here. We got to have reasons for them to stay here. That's what we're talking about doing. I think so. I would look at this as the budget's 140, 130 something million. Show me one company that would operate a $136 million company that doesn't have a sales force, that doesn't have a hard charge in HR department because it's hard to find quality people, okay? And I think that wouldn't give back to their community, wouldn't want to promote businesses, their business and their industry's business. So I think what you have is a great addition to what you're doing. And it's at a budget. I don't know how you could recreate that. I don't think you could go start your own tourism department. I don't think you could go start hiring ECD, economic development, for any of this, for anywhere near $100,000 if you can. I'd love to see that. And I'm not saying that persnickety at all. I just know what it costs to hire good quality people to run. If you look at your department heads and all that. So I think it's a great investment, not only in today, but tomorrow and as we go forward. I welcome any call at any time. If somebody has a question about what we do, how we do it, I'd be happy to field that. But I appreciate the question. I appreciate the support. And I'm looking forward to where we're going because I'm really excited. First time in about 28 years, I've been excited about where we're going in this county. That's the gospel truth. So I've probably gone over my time as well, but I apologize.
Commissioner Johnson.
You know, one of the best ways to evaluate is not for me to say how good the partnership is, or maybe even for these gentlemen to say how it is. It's what do your peers say? What do your other people say? How many counties have sent their economic developers to Bedford County to benchmark what we're doing here, Mr. Hooper?
14 different counties have been here to benchmark, to look at what we're
Right.
doing in Bedford County. And we were held out by Middle Tennessee Industrial Development Association as, if you want to do industrial recruitment, if you want to know what economic development looks like in a rural county, you look at the Shelbyville-Bedford partnership. That's what MTIDA said about it. They put them on a bus and brought them down here to say that. And I didn't ask for that. We just work hard and get stuff done.
Does anybody know who Stuart McWhorter is?
West Tennessee.
He's the #1 economic director in the state of Tennessee. Here's what he said about Shane Hooper.
He came down. Yeah.
Shane is dynamic. I'm going to embarrass you, Shane. Shane is dynamic and very relational. He's extremely bright. He understands how things work. Shane is obviously a leader. You can see it just by being around him. He draws people not only to gather, but to work together. And when he says he's going to do something, he does it. He's very thorough. That is so important for us at the state to be able to do our job and for me to represent Governor Bill Lee. We need to have people like Shane to lead and corral folks together for the common good in all of our communities. Thank you, Mr. Hooper.
Can I say something?
Follow up.
Please, Commissioner Young.
I'd like to take just a second, because I can remember back to 2006, 2007, 2008, when the recession was coming in. And if it hadn't been for Robert and his vision and planning and some of the things that the commission did, we would have been like several other the counties that had major backsets. And so we waited, we got through that. We got through that without all these people now. And I'll get back to these people. And we were getting our feet right back on the road. We were addressing our employees. We were addressing things that we had put off, and now we're more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. And then COVID hit. And about that time, the mayor came into office. We moved into the county jail, or the new jail. But as I look back over all of that, and I give Mayor Graham major credit for putting things in order. By that I mean everything kind of, you went to the mayor's office to figure this out, or to ask for this, or to do this. And it was getting to the point of you couldn't get anything done because there was so much, and we were growing so much. And then along comes the mayor with his vision to, diversify some of this stuff out to people who know what they're doing and are experts and can give you the answers. And they're available to all the county commissioners. Go talk to them. And I'm sure I'm going to leave people out, but Shane, I can't thank you enough, but mine comes from the education side. And what I see, and Dr. Garrett can bless this or not, but the things that you and Lori Sexton have done with the workforce development, and we're going to change that 53% mark that does not go on to further education. It will change. That takes planning, and it takes effort, and it takes somebody. And that's the role that Shane has done. He's come in, he's gathered all this stuff up, the economic development, all these things, which you don't have time to do. I don't want you doing it because you don't know those big people in the sky that you need to know to do the things that are doing. And I think to Jeff, and Jeff gets razzed about his position on stuff, but Lord have mercy, I wonder how much money we could have saved on the jail when we built it if Jeff Sweeney had been in line to do the oversight and the things that we had done then. Mayor stepped into a bad spot there, but we got it all cleaned up. Daniel Kleindienst is now, over the maintenance stuff. The department heads are above reproach. I can't tell you, from building codes to, all of them, EMS, zoning. It's like we've got experts now in all of these little pockets, and I'm proud of that. And Shane, I'm proud of you. And for $100,000, I don't know how we could get any better than that. And with and for the monies that we paid our department heads and constitutional office people are phenomenal. We do pretty good for $100-something million budget. And so I wanted to thank you.
I would like to say one more thing too before we move on to further.
And I'll come back.
I'm probably one of the few ones was here when all this started, with the Bedford-Shelbyville partnership, all of it. Another one sitting right there in the front row. But I will say I have worked with them. And I know everybody's all jazzed up about giving the partnership $100,000, and I understand that totally, because it is taxpayer dollars and trying to see something move forward. But with everything that this partnership does, but I'm a lifer here. I basically give my whole working career, short of family business time, to this community on the city side and now the county side. I have never worked with a better group. I have worked with Shane since day one, when he come in. I have worked with this partnership in good roles and bad times. There's always been good times, bad times, and you have to get together, and it's all worked itself out. The $100,000 that is the big question for everyone. Look at the long-range picture that Shane was talking about. You may not see it today, but you will see it tomorrow. At some point in time, it is a good thing, this partnership. That committee that makes that partnership up, not talking about you, Scott, but everyone else.
Thanks, Mark. Got to be an exception.
Yes, sir. But this partnership is moving and doing things that the regular public has no idea of what's going on. Just like every other facet in governmental work on everybody's side. This partnership is going to pay off. It's like anything else at your local home. You try to save. You can't start out saving $1 million unless you hit the lottery. So you got to save with $10 at a time. That $100,000 is basically that. You're investing in this community's future. I have worked with Shane in this partnership, like I said, from day one. I was on the city side as an elected official, and I was probably the number one person before anyone that had this idea to work the city and county together. And I'm looking at Sylvia, I think she'll back me up. Not taking any credit for any of this right here, but I seen what this was going to be when it started. When Shane come on board, he is one of the hardest working people. Whether you like him or don't like him or disagree or agree with him, it's like anybody else. When you work, you're going to have people that enjoy what you do, and you're going to have people that doesn't enjoy and doesn't understand what you're doing. But this investment is building this community to a place that in my lifetime, I'm 58 years old. I've always wanted this community. I've tried to give back to this community my whole life. This community is going places that I never thought we would ever get at this point in time. 5 years from now, this same discussion, the same answers will be asked, and it's justifiable asking, why do we need to give money to this? It is justifiable. Constituents are talking to everybody. But that's where we, as people is put in these positions, we have to be able to give them the right information and the right promise that this is moving us forward. And it will move us forward. And they work very hard. And people don't see what all they do. I'm telling you, I'm probably not throwing you and me both under the bus, but at the start of this thing, there's been times where calls had to be made at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. You had to go home, come back, get on phone. And I've sat through a lot of phone calls with Mr. Hooper at 9, 10 o'clock at night till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, getting things worked out that he was working out for this community. So if it is any way possible to look for the future, this is just a small step to keep moving to the future, because the way we grow and the way we improve it for these citizens here in this community, and everyone does not understand the reasons why governmental agencies have to do what they need to do. But it's our job to make sure they understand that we're doing the right thing by moving this community forward. And once it hits, and it's very close to hitting, I believe that this town is fixing to blow up, and within the next 5 years, I think everybody's gonna say, well, crap, I didn't think this right here would ever happen. And that's where we're headed to. So I do want to commend Shane. Me and Shane give each other agitation there from time to time in public settings, and I'm okay with that, and Shane's okay with that. And Mr. Coffey and that committee, they are working for the betterment of this community, not themselves. And that's what I'd like to say, and I want to thank you for that.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I do appreciate your time, Trooper. I appreciate Mr. Coffey articulating what you all do, or part of what you all do. Just, I wanted to clear the air. You know, my job is to, first of all, listen to the constituents, number one. And as you can see and read the temperature in the room, this was a hot button. I asked the question that ignited the fuse that sparked the discussion. And I'm fine with that. Because there are a lot of people that are not in this room that feel that question just simply needs to be. I will say that after hearing some things articulated, I have a better understanding. So is there a fault there? Maybe, maybe not. But I feel like that it would have helped. Number two or three, when it's listed the way that it is in this budget, my job, as you can see, Post-it notes and all, is to go through this budget book page by page and find things that may not make sense. I'm very happy, just like I said at the beginning of this, that I found a lot of good things that I'm happy about. I could tell that there was a lot of work put into this budget by the department heads, and I'm not going to skate around that. So this discussion, I do believe, is healthy. I do have a follow-up question. So as it pertains to the partnership, you mentioned that the chamber is involved, and Mr. Coffey spoke to that as well, correct?
Correct.
So and also understand that it's the Shelbyville-Bedford partnership, correct?
Correct.
Correct. So, thank you. I know also, I believe that Shelbyville City sent you all a check for $5,000 and you sent it back to them. So what was the reasoning behind that? I mean, that just obviously caused some concern, right?
Okay.
And that's been a part of the talk track from the constituents that I also just want to clear up.
Outstanding question, outstanding. First of all, I want to say thank you for your support. I have an 8-member board that I answer to. That 8-member board has 1 attorney, 2 CPAs, 3 CPAs. One of my board members has a Wikipedia page where it talks about his $12 billion merger that he was responsible for as being CFO of Coca-Cola. You already know the success of Mr. Coffey and his family here. Whether it is Nashville or Murfreesboro or Chattanooga, I will tell you, I have the most successful, the most accomplished board that there is in economic development, bar none. And we're very fortunate to have those folks. So what I'm about to say next is I have to be very careful with because I do have a board that I answer to. But given this opportunity to talk about some things that need to be talked about. Okay, so now let me get this straight. We're going to do some math right quick. You send me a check for $5,000 because you want to be involved in what the partnership stands for and what the partnership does. You send me a $5,000 check because you want to show up at the chamber events. You want to come to the ribbon cutting. Because last time we had that ribbon cutting and the governor showed up and Commissioner Stuart McWhorter was here and Pat Marsh was here and Shane Reeves was here, I can give you the list. I got the photos of all the people that were touching the shovels that were proud that day. But you send me a $5,000 check because you want to be involved. But before I got here, before I was even in the picture here, you went to the legislature in the state of Tennessee, and you asked to levy a tax which the legislature said, yes, you can charge people who are coming to your town that are going to stay in your hotels, and that generate the money that gets generated from that, we want you to spend it on economic development. Yes, we will allow you to do that. Then you turn around and you take that money away from the chamber. You took that money away from the folks who have mom and pop shops, the leadership. You cut off the legs of the leadership that was helping your small mom and pop businesses. The people that you talk about every day that you want to help, the middle class. You took the leadership away from them because they didn't get anything done in the industrial park, according to some. Well, why didn't you just take a little bit back? It was just a little bit in the industrial park that wasn't getting done. But no, you didn't make a surgical strike. You didn't use a scalpel. You came along with an axe, cut the legs off the entire support for all of your local small mom and pop businesses. You took the $250,000 that you went to the legislature and you took it away from them. And then, when they didn't have the money to update their building and take care of their building, not only did you take their check from them, their livelihood from them, and stop supporting local businesses, then you took their building back from them. Now you want to ask to get back in the game for $5,000. And hear me on this too. This Shelbyville-Bedford partnership is not about Shelbyville City and Bedford County partnership. We're talking about the partnership between small businesses and the chamber. We're talking about partnerships between Tennessee ECD, the Tennessee Economic and Community Development. We're talking about the partnership that they have with Bedford County. We're talking about the partnership that we have with other organizations when we went to Nashville and brought back $1 million and handed it to Shelbyville Power and Water so you can go do some more work on your sewer. $250,000 worth of grant for the Governor's Give grant. But you want to write me a check for $5,000 and get back in the game like, we didn't do anything. I don't know what happened. Those numbers don't add up. They just don't add up. I can't speak for the rest of my board. You have to ask them. They're more than capable of speaking. But I will tell you this, when you take $250,000 away from an organization and then you take their building away from them and then you turn around and take $100,000, you can't go buy everything that we talked about doing today for $100,000. You can't do it. You took $250,000 away from the chamber, then you took the building back from the chamber, then you took $100,000 from the partnership, and you want to come back in the game for $5,000. Scott, you got a calculator?
I do.
When that adds up, you let me know. And I probably said something I shouldn't have said.
I think it explains it very well. Good job.
No, I just add, just so you know, that we got a check first for $456, okay, from the city, and I had no idea what that was. But during this time, we had the actual merger between the chamber and the partnership. We were going through and deciding how we wanted to do memberships. And we believe that the membership model is what the county it has with us. You're in on everything. You're a part of everything. And that's what we thought we had with the city, and then they defunded us. So we got a check for $456. We don't know what that is. Then we get a check for $5,000. We don't know what that is. We'd already made these decisions. We had not had time to communicate that because we were putting it all together. So it might look a little different, but I stand by exactly everything he said because I believe that it does take funding to do what we do. I truly do. I don't believe you could go out and do this without the funding, and it's a great deal it was a great deal for the city, And I'll tell that till the cows come home. It's a great deal for the county, and it's a great deal for this community, and it's a great deal for the private industry that's getting behind a county who's excited about growth. And how do we win? And I would, again, I'd reiterate, I appreciate your question. We're there. I'm there. I'm happy to give you my cell number. I'll talk to you about any of that. Our board will too. But I think that is, it's very difficult to do what anybody does if you don't have support and you don't have fun. So anyway, I think you did a great job, Chairman, President. I just wanted to add a little color to that, so.
I do want to say, I appreciate, Commissioner, you asking that question, because that's a question that has needed to be asked.
For sure.
And it's time that the answers come out, because all this misinformation about different things of why things are happening and things are going, the way you find out the truth is ask the question and get it straight from the source instead of secondhand knowledge. And so I do appreciate that question, because that's a question that has needed to be asked.
You're plenty loud, but.
You want me back
Are
on?
y'all giving her a microphone?
Oh, sorry. All right, guys. Shane, talk about that the partnership has the DOM of tourism from the state, where the chamber, when it came available, it left the chamber, correct, and went to our county mayor, not to the city, okay?
Correct. So there again is one of those things that, like Commissioner Yaki said, there are certain things that you need a mayor involved in. And quite frankly, there are things that you need somebody that does that every day involved in. So we were happy to take on that responsibility for the mayor's office, let me back up, not for the mayor's office, but for Bedford County. We were happy to do that because we're constantly out here trying to come up with a plan. We're providing a plan for how we move forward. We're providing extra revenue. We're the ones out here talking to developers 3 and 4 times a day, inviting them, because I heard this coming up somewhere. Yes. So, yes, we're on the second floor of the county annex building. But 3 or 4 times a week, when I have to bring somebody up there to talk to a developer that wants to bring $1 million project here or wants to do something significant here, for me to have a place to take them to that's conducive for a conversation, yeah, that's right. We're on the second floor of the county annex building. I don't know how you want me to apologize for that. You want stuff in this community, you got to provide stuff to make that happen.
At the time, and if I could speak to that issue, at the time, the city did not have space and had not taken actually the chamber building and actually asked, and in fact wanted at one point, although they obviously stepped away from that since then, but they actually wanted to use some of that space as well at one point. So again, in the early days of recognizing we needed a next generation economic development engine, part of that was getting it off on the right foot. And we had that space available that we were already managing. And again, the city and county were close at hand in trying to work with the leadership, actually before we ever had Shane. And so from there, again, it's just grown and makes sense that this is where the activity is going. They call me to come over and meet with these people from time to time. It gives them the ability to walk right across the street and say, here's your county seat and where your businesses happen, as well as the city hall is right there. So it's in the ideal location. It is space that we have multi-use purposes for. And so, again, it certainly didn't make sense at the time to not utilize that space when we're trying to leave it better than we found it and actually get the system going.
Not to mention the times that I have to go visit, bless her heart, I know she gets tired of seeing me come down the hallway. But sometimes I have to go get information from Miss Rhonda Clanton and others in that building. They get tired of seeing me coming, but I have to work the deals. By the time you see a deal, I've worked 7 or 8 or 10 deals that didn't go through. Sometimes I have to ask her to do work, and in the back of my mind, I'm knowing that was a whole lot of work for this deal not to come through, but that's economic development. It's like baseball. Nobody makes the Hall of Fame batting 1,000. You tell me one Major League Baseball player ever made the Hall of Fame batting 1,000.
Well, and
It
again,
doesn't work like that. If you get a third of them,
all right, hold up. And beyond that, I'm trying to give them a break. Beyond that, obviously, our code zoning planning folks are critical whenever these industries are coming in looking. Sometimes it is a county matter, sometimes it's a city matter. Again, this location is strategic, makes all the sense in the world, and that, again, is why that's in place the way it is.
Chris White too. All the time, back and forth, burning up a little trail.
Okay.
But that's how progress happens.
I'm going to give you a break. Next question. It can be related to economic
Think Mr.
development.
No, I want, Chief Thomas had.
Okay, yeah, please.
Well, I didn't want to leave anybody out.
I will say this about Shane, and I know years ago when we recruited, we would go to Motlow, we would go to Murfreesboro to meet with high school students. Shane and his team have brought that here, where we're working with our own kids, and we're reaching out to, I know, EMS, Sheriff's Department, corrections, all your businesses are there, and we're getting a bite at these teenagers to keep them here and offer them the jobs that the county has. And I do know this, that a lot of the industries, and I know some of the higher-ups in there, they've told me they have appreciated what you all have done by reaching out to them and saying, how can we help you? I think one of them is, how do you want the employees trained when they come to you? And y'all are giving them those tools and having those people ready to come to them, you know. So I just wanted to say, you know, I think we've made a good investment here, and I think it's paid off already.
Chief, along those lines, I can give you example after example of where we've gone into an industry and they've said, well, we got this last batch of graduates. Doesn't matter what school they come out of, we'll leave that off. But here's things that they don't know that we wish that they knew. You know what we take with that information? We take it back to the school and we say, hey, look, here's something that they're saying about the students that graduated from here. It's part of our role to make a education worth something. Everybody talks about, well, we need education that means something. Well, we're part of making that happen.
All right, thank you for that.
Anything else we need to talk about today?
Let's see. Economic development questions, any specific? Of course, we still got plenty of budget documents to go through. Okay? Okay, thank you so much. All right, next question, whatever commissioners got, you want to go over in the budget? Okay, on the committee itself, is there anything that you have any additional questions or clarification about? Now, you've been looking at this even before the commission had it. They've had it now for some time. There was it 2 corrections that we made early on? Yes. And they were sent to you. Does everybody understand and got those sheets where those were? Outside of that, everything is exactly as it was given to you, is what's under consideration or packaged, if that's the way that you want to say that. So does everybody understand that about budget? We're talking about just the budget process. Any other questions from the commissioners specific to budget tonight? Okay, so if the committee is ready, we need to make a motion to send this as the 24-25 budget recommendation to the commission, which is Thursday night special call meeting at 7.
Is this just resolution 25?
No, that's different. We're doing them separate. Yeah, so this is the budgets, but just
Oh, okay,
because of
yeah,
where
I'm
it
sorry, I'm
fell.
sorry, okay.
Yeah, so Commissioner Tony Smith made the motion.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, and she second. Now, we're open for further discussion or question, clarification about what we're doing. This is sending it as packaged. Everybody understands it? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, so next, now we're on to the resolutions. Now, the resolutions are really the taxing or the revenue part of this. This was the expenditure side of it. So the first one, it's 21-1 through 20, or 25-1 through 25-6. So the first one is the tax rate. Go ahead.
Okay, the first resolution is the tax rate resolution, and we do this each year. And it shows the breakdown of the budget as far as the tax rate, the general fund of 1.43, $1.43. Highway and Public Works, 9 cents. General Purpose Schools, 62 cents. General Debt Service, 15 cents. And County Capital Projects of 3.52 cents.
Okay, now that's exactly the same as the current year
That's correct. There's no increase.
in
No,
any
no
of the particular categories of the
Correct.
232.52.
Correct.
All right, now, so we're open for discussion or clarification. Questions from my commissioners? Particularly with this, and we're talking about the first resolution, the 25-1, which is actually the true tax rate of 232.52. Okay, I don't, did you want to say, okay. I don't hear or see any, so is there any comments or questions here? If not, we need a motion to send this resolution
make that motion.
to the commission as presented.
Yeah, that's presented.
Okay? So, all right, got a motion and a second for those. All right, so all in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're ready for the next one, which is 25-2. Want to talk about?
This is called an appropriation resolution, and it's basically a summary of the budget by departments. So you'll see the general fund and all the departments underneath, drug control, highways, public works, school funds, and there's also some other items in there at the back. For instance, there's one about if we had to have a tax anticipation note, then that resolution covers that. And we haven't had a tax anticipation note since 2007, since I've been here.
Since we went to the 81 Act.
Yeah,
We
so I
actually
don't,
have them
I
regularly.
don't think we're going to have one, but it's just kind of, a safeguard. So that's basically it on that one.
All right.
So when we add the total general fund and education, I'm at about 130, almost 140 something thousand moment.
If you will go to your budget book, I will give you a reference on number 15,
Tab 15,
tab 15,
all the way to the back.
and go to the first yellow page, and just behind that is a summary of the budget. And it has total appropriations, and this is what most people consider the budget amount.
Yeah.
It's $176 million is the total appropriations. Now, part of that, there's an amount in there that's doubled, and it's because we're transferring money from one capital projects fund to another. So when you take that out, we're talking about 136 million, 140 million, something like that, total.
Again, this is what's appropriated, not necessarily all that will be spent.
That's correct. But that kind of gives you a snapshot of the entire budget. It shows you the fund balances at the end of the year. And we have to send these reports to the state comptroller for approval. And if we have a fund balance that doesn't fall within the percentage they give us, then we have to explain it to them. But if we fall within those.
So, resolution 25-2.
Move to approve.
Okay. All right, motion second. So any other questions? Did anybody else have a question regarding it? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we're ready for 25-3.
25.3 is the appropriations for nonprofit charitable organizations, and this lists the summary of all the nonprofits that we're funding. And it does not include, well, it does on the second page. It has the in-kind donations. That's where we are allowing free rent. For instance, the community clinic, we base it on the rental value of that. They're upstairs in this building. They provide a lot of services to the people that can't get insurance. Junior's House, I can't really tell you a lot about that, but Lori might could tell you what they do. Spay and neuter clinic, several years ago, the county commission let them have an old building that's off on 41 across from the old hospital. And that's the rental value there. And then we have the Shelbyville Partnership and the Bedford County Tourism and Marketing, which is an arm of that partnership. So that's all of the nonprofits that we provide support to, either cash or in kind.
So 25-3, resolution. Questions of the committee?
Make a motion to send it to the committee.
Second.
All right, we got second. Is it any commissioner want to make any comment? This is this is specifically looking at contributions, which we were talking about, that 100,000 is in there. So just so you understand that as far as the document.
I might add one comment. In order to get the contribution, they have to submit financial statements to our office. So if they don't have the financial statement, then we're not going to provide the money.
That's any
And
of,
that's according to state code.
right, and that's any of the, this is not
That's any
related
of
to the partnership. Okay. All right, so we have motion second. Any other statements, comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, well, then we're on to 25-4.
This is the resolution to authorize payment for additional compensation to certain court clerks. An example of this is like somebody that's the circuit court clerk has to do sessions court, so they get paid 10% extra versus hiring a new clerk. Same thing with the sheriff, for instance. He does the workhouse, so he gets 10% for doing the workhouse. Otherwise, you got to hire somebody to be over that.
Which would exceed that.
Right, which would exceed that quite a bit. So this has been in for as long as I've been here. So.
Motion to approve. Okay, so we got a motion?
Second.
Second, okay. Anybody particular question? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now 25-5.
This is to provide education incentive payments to full-time elected officials of Bedford County. CTAS has a program that if the elected officials go through, then they can get an amount, and then we make up the difference, whatever that is. So this is the
So
resolution.
it's not to exceed 2,500. It's a
Correct.
certified public administrator. It's a program you have to go through. You have to stay certified in if you're an elected official. The state gives a different amount based on your years. It's prorated. So what they're saying is the county closes the gap on the difference if you qualify. So if the
Correct.
state gave 1,000 to the mayor, the county would give 1,500 more to make 25. You don't get 25 and the 1,000 from the state. As it progresses out, I believe the state goes all the way to the 25 number, don't they?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm
think
not
so.
sure of the amount.
So some of them, so it depends on where it's graduated, but I want you to understand that that program's been in place. It's throughout the state. It's not just a Bedford program. Does everybody understand what's going on there? Okay, I need a motion.
So move.
Second. All right, motion second. Any other? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and I think this is the last one.
The last one relates to federal grants, and what we do by adopting this resolution, we send a lot of our grant information to get approved, like budget amendments to the state itself. So this is allowing us to send it direct to the state. They approve the grant, they approve the amendments, versus it going to the county commission. Now, as part of this, the school board has to approve the amendment prior to it going to the state.
This is really a housekeeping document required for us to be eligible for those federal funds and to make sure we're in compliance with state audit.
Right.
Yes, everybody agree with that? Okay, any questions? Is that motion is? Motion. All right, second.
Second.
All right, motion second. Anybody got a question regarding that one? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we're where we've been trying to get to. All right, did we have anything under other business? All right, or what about announcements? Now, keep in mind, the commission special call meeting Thursday at 7, but at 6:30, we have a special call finance committee meeting, and this is just so we can receive those last amendments for the current year so that they can officially be on the agenda for the 7 o'clock meeting. And that's the only business to be conducted during that. All right? Is there any other comments or questions or announcements or statements? Motion to